And we're done.
And we're done. Welcome. We're done. You're welcome.
The elephants have been addressed.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
It feels, doesn't that just feel so good? Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Kaylee and I had one yesterday. I mean, she's in it, like full bleed and cancer season, like cracked open in it. Um, but she dropped in with me yesterday and was like, I like acknowledging I'm in it and I need to be seen in this. I'm feeling like since retreat, I'm feeling really lonely and and like abandoned by you, or not by you. Those were not her words, but like that was, I could hear the story, And I was like, I totally see you. I'm busy as fuck. It's not personal. And she was like, great, thanks for letting me know.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not going anywhere. I still love you. And we're just like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks. Conversations.
Yeah.
Say the thing.
And saying, yeah,
Yeah.
saying the thing. Oh, okay.
It's not me. Okay.
So good. Oh. Oh.
Yeah.
We're like so cool. I
Mm.
just want to like soak, soak all our sisters in for a moment.
Mm.
Ah. Mm. Oh,
Mhm.
it's just big stuff.
Yeah.
And like, I really loved also what you said earlier about Sovereign Village. And I feel like what is what's being created here is that like we're all these individual beings coming into a collective space and being that, but together, and yeah, talking about the things when we need to talk about them, and talking about our own things. And it's like the coolest fucking feeling in the world.
Yeah.
Like, um and I don't remember what I had exactly said to you before about like, I think it's so cool how we just hold each other, but that wasn't exactly what I was trying to say when we were in Sedona. I was trying to say this, like the fact that we can be and hold our individual selves in a space together collectively and see each other as your individual selves and like marry each other.
Yeah.
That's like sovereign relationshiping and coexisting and collaborating.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the eye of the other, and also like all of the human parts.
Mm.
Like to spend such time cultivating such a village, to know each other to such great depths in all of the human parts. and then also to see and hold each other's fucking souls.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's only what I've been waiting for my whole life.
It's only what I've been waiting for my whole life. Oh, yeah. That, this. Mm. Ugh. I feel my solar plex just like warm, so warm and sunny in there. Is it plex or plexus? I never know. I never really know, to be honest with you.
Oh, I think it's plexus, but I thought it was just a cute little nickname you gave it with Plex, and so it felt really good.
Thanks. I'll take it. Um, as we were talking, the crows were going crazy, of course.
There are, like, just around the block, there are, I thought they were baby crows, but then I saw them and they're teenage crows. Um, I took myself on a walk around the block the other day, and I like rounded the corner and there's like a big crow on the right, and he was like, meh. And I was like, I'm good, man. Like, I love you. It's all good.
Yeah.
And he's like, meh, yeah. Okay, like, I hear you. And then I realized that across the street in this like big ass pine tree, uh, there's like little crow voice boxes, and they're all like, meh, meh, like pawing, but like not quite fulfilled yet. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, he's just protecting his babies.
Yeah.
And then mom comes in and she has this like deep caw, and then like deep mom caw, and then like, but then I went out I went out the next day, and um I heard them before I rounded the corner, so I came back to get Sean, and I was like, you got to hear the baby crows. And we went to see them, and they're like teenage size. They're not they're not itty bitty. They're just like, it feels like they're like teenage boy crows and their voice boxes are cracking. And like,
Oh my God.
anyway, I love them.
I love them so much. They're one of my favorites to watch. And I don't know how many pictures of crows I have on my phone, but there are a lot. They make me laugh. There
I
was,
like still can't believe that you got the
you
crow
know,
Patronus too.
I know. I was like, well, dropped my phone. Uh, actually, you know what? I want to speak to this. Um, I feel like I've been like, I'm like, am I going through an identity crisis right now? That's what I feel like. And I took the Patronus test, and then you were like, here, guys, take this test, right?
Yeah,
And after I took the test, because they were either in the same day or one day after the other,
yeah.
and also after this portal, I want to add that because it's a part of this whole thing, I feel like. I was like, am I answering these questions because this is what I want? Or this is who I think I want to be? Or is this who I want to be? Or is this how I think people see me to be? And I was like, fuck. What the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Where the fuck? Like, who the fuck am I? You know?
Oh, I do.
And I feel like we are all going through a similar thing. Um, and but what I keep choosing is other, because what feels like when when I build momentum into a direction that like, oh, I'm doing things that I want to do, sometimes I'm like, I don't know. There's like these, I don't know, an identity tug of war that's happening. And also, you know, being with our group of women, I was like working through this, like, okay, is this me? Is this what I want? Or is it, am I being like, do I feel influenced? More like inspired. It's not influenced. Um, so anyways, that's like kind of what's going on for me. And then I meet, I meet Libby right when I land in Denver. Libby IRL in real life. And right before I landed, I don't know what exactly the conversation I was having with myself was on in the sky, but I had came to terms with like um my queerness, which I never identified with. Like, I just knew I liked both. But then I was like, and it's not really that. Like, it didn't really feel like that. And I was like, I think that I'm queer. And I sat with it and I was like, yeah, that feels, yeah. And then I meet Libby and she's like, I'm queer. This is my husband and this is my boyfriend. And I'm like, this is not a coincidence, you know? And I'm going through this like, oh, like Nate usually picks me up from the airport when I land here. Like, I'm going through my emotional stuff as I'm like landing here, landing in Denver. Then I meet Libby, and it's just like love and freeness and openness. And have you heard of relationship smorgasbord? I'm like, no, what is that? And she's just like showering me.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, whoa, whoa, fuck yes. Like, the openness of possibility that I feel to be true here was like shattered open.
Yeah. Ah.
And I don't know. Like, and now I don't know. And then the other day on Instagram, I saw queer praise, which I've never seen before. And I just like, I sent it to Libby, and then I went down the rabbit hole of like this woman who leads queer praise.
Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. She's just like totally fucking badass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she has this like program that's like voice doming or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me open my legs. And I'm just like, this feels like something that I've been wanting that I didn't know. Like, this is like, I feel like universe shit where you want something and you be open to the mystery and the surprise, because you're just gonna limit yourself.
Yeah.
And this feels like that. And you know, when I was with Nate, like, we both knew that like I was like, I'm curious about women, and I've like sexually have been with a woman before, but like freaked out um because it was getting a little bit more than that, and I kind of like ghosted her. I did ghost her. but that's always been like when I think of my little self, like I was more into women than I was with men, right? This is getting a lot deeper than I thought. Um, but there's like, I mean, like an attraction, anyways. So I'm kind of at this, feels like a precipice of self and exploration, but can also feel that this has been and like a blockage in business and money and
Mhm.
life.
Mhm. Mhm.
And as my Mother Mary candle lights up really brightly right now, um, yeah. So, and then I'm in the space, like I did a healing yesterday, and I've talked to you about this many, many of times where I'm like, I know this isn't it for me, like the softness in healing spaces, but I don't know how else to approach it. Like, because also I do enjoy it. Like, I do enjoy like doing healings, right? Doing
Mhm.
energy work and doing
Yeah.
stuff. And am I stopping myself by being like, this isn't it, so I'm not going to do it?
Mm. Mhm.
But I do feel like when I was with our sisters and the whole portal experience, it, I look at like how easy it feels for me to be myself and get to be explorative and not and be myself, like my full unfiltered human, all the things magical self,
Mhm.
where, and maybe I'm just like, there's still parts of me that make it wrong, but where I don't fully feel that here, like in these spaces all of the time. And I know part of it is just me allowing myself to step into it and be like, hey, that's me. Um, which I feel like I'm doing more of, but it's I'm I'm in a really awkward space
Mhm.
of identity and how what do I want? Like what do I want my work, my sharing my conversations to be like, what is true? I think that's, and I don't think there is an answer right now because I think I'm just still figuring it out, and like it's still transitional and clunky and awkward, and like you're just gonna have to feel like that wasn't quite it and do it and keep doing it.
Mhm.
And this is kind of, these are like the conversations that I've been having with myself, because there were some days when I asked you like, how do I show up, it was because I was also kind of feeling like, is this working? Like, is this gonna work? And am I going in the wrong direction? But I came to like, nope, it's just really fucking awkward right now, and you don't know. And, like you're just gonna have to feel judged, even if um that's the fear piece of like, I'm just gonna hide because I'm feeling like people are like, what is this bitch doing? I'm just gonna have to keep doing it.
Yeah.
And that's the next level piece. That's the what I was meaning earlier about I'm just gonna have to keep choosing into this otherness that I have no fucking idea about.
Yeah. Me too.
A lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Um, well, yes. I I think that you're correct on all of it. So I was really just like witnessing you. Like, yeah, yeah, that sounds correct. Um, and it also makes sense, like to we have the obvious one where we spent a lot of time together with really incredible people, and then like whatever else is going on in the stars and the backdrop and whatever. But we had this space of a whole week, an entire week, where you were like literally and in our bodies in the same space, free and loved
Yeah.
to be and explore and sleep like shit and show up and move crazy fucking sound through, and everyone's like in everything we're all just like fuck yeah, that was awesome. Like what an experience for these identities that we've carried to like get curious and expand and like I get to show up differently here, and like whether it's cognitive or not, you know. And so here we are on the other side, and we have all of these like um I'm seeing like multifaceted like portal doors everywhere, and they're all like you know, like there's so much potential.
Yeah.
um and like you're saying, the space of liminal, of integration, is weird as fuck. It's hard.
Yeah.
There's very little ground. Just like nothing to hold on to yet. And there's got to be a lot of trust.
Yeah.
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 I had one. I had one. Maybe this is why I didn't ask about it. I was really curious how your experience at the airport with Libby was. I'm like, that's so interesting. I'm pretty sure these guys are meeting for the first time at the airport and having dinner together. Like, what a wild experience. And like, I couldn't have even, like, there wouldn't have been space for me to ask the question because the answer is so enormous.
Yeah.
And like, in the cosmic hilarity way, like very simple actually,
Yeah.
you know? But that's here's how my brain would have like played this out. Like, how was your airport dinner with Libby? You guys met for person or in person for the first time, and then you'd be like, yeah, it was pretty great and also kind of weird. And there, you know, maybe there were like a couple stories that came up, and I um, you know, held myself through them and felt through my emotional body. And then I talked to Libby about it and we had a great time. But instead, you guys just swoop in and like serve each other the medicine that very likely you both needed.
Yeah.
It's so far out of what anybody's brain could have comprehended for that moment in time.
Uh, Mind you, after her purple pen splooshed all over her on the plane, from writing frequency first, and the rest is history. uh yeah, it's really it has really changed my life, like in the ways that my heart has been activated. And and also, like, it just also feels really true. And I think that's also scary because I'm like, that thing that I was saying earlier, is it because I'm really inspired by Libby and her energy? Or is this true for me in my heart as well? I don't know. I don't know yet. um, but if I think about the test that we took, actually, my number one is Explorer.
Mm.
And I mean, that's what I do. Fuck around and find out.
That's what I do. That's right. Yeah. I I have found myself in freeze specifically in business for weeks now, and like so frozen in this, not the exact spot because it's like my two spots, but the same energetic place. Um, what was and what is next, and I'm like here, and I'm like so close to the new one,
Yeah.
but I like don't. It's not here. It's not here.
Yeah.
It's here, but it's not like it's not fluid yet. And so when I go to write a post from this space, I'm like, and I'm like well aware of it. And like, as I was saying in my voice note, like often when I'm there, the message will be like, just don't do that. You just
Yeah.
don't have to write a post. Please don't do that. Don't do that. And I'm like, okay. And it's actually really important to write the shitty posts.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is the clunk part. And like the harder we actually clunk with it, and like that post sucked, I'm going to send it anyway. I'm going to leave it up. And it's great because that's how we refine faster.
Yeah.
That's how we get to understand it, is by the like, I don't know, but I've got me.
Yeah. Yeah. Ah.
Hmm. And then the energetic homework, like devotional homework, is running the like pretty damn blind frequency of where we're going, as always. So we're like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if it's kind of for me. I don't know if I meant to do that in my work, or like how do I integrate those, all of these again really clunky spots. But we're like, it's like we can't see it yet and we can't feel it, so we're like floating, twirling in fucking outer space. But we know the frequency, you know?
Yeah.
We know what we want it to feel like. We know what it feels like in connection with our women, with our sisters, with our clients, with our families. We know well, we don't necessarily know what the physical space looks like. Like, this is my dream home. We know what we want it to feel like. And I know that this is old news, but I need to remember to like anchor this practice in the moments of like, what the fuck? in partnership. Like, I don't know what that means for me. I don't know, what the shape of relationship, being a huge ship of possibility, I don't know what that is yet, but I know what it can feel like.
Yeah.
And then energetically, or like with magnets or oils or with sound, whatever it is that we use, releasing the things that are in the way, the stories that are like, you can't have that, you know, that's not possible.
Yeah.
I, yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It'll come.
Yeah. uh yeah. There, because in when I saw that voice stomp container, I was a complete like, take me now. And then I watched the Q&A and I was just like crying. Because before that, I think before you told me about the nightshades, the story of the nightshades, I was like, I honestly, I just want to sing. Like, I want to take stage, be a public speaker because I'm singing and I'm sharing messages, but because I'm on the stage and I have the mic, and then I'm going to sing it through in the most simplest way. I'm a singer. But like the nightshades, it's a front for all the fucking magical shit that we're actually doing, you know?
Uh-huh.
And that's why I'm like very mixed up in this like sound healing and spiritual world ordeal. Because the call, since we've moved through this portal, is to like live and express fully and to be in the body, to be in the body of the experience, not outside of, yeah, I can see cool shit, or I'm going to space, like it's cool and I love it, the energy's great, but why?
Mm-hmm.
Why do we want that? And it's more of just like, what is your why? Not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a body why, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
This is what I've been asking of myself. And so when I'm having conversations with my friends here and you're telling me about your really cool meditative experience and we can see these cool things, and I do enjoy that, but I'm like, my focus, I'm focusing in, and so this feels like it's outside of my current focus. It's a part of me, I know that. And it's almost like, you know, how we're in the space of like, oh yeah, we're casually, this is casual, like
Mm-hmm.
this, yeah, because this is my life. And the magic that you are experiencing in the mundane and in the bigness, you get to have all of that, you get to be all of that, but here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just feeling a little bit dissonant in my current spaces right now. And
Between you and friends.
Hmm.
between you and friends.
Yeah, and figuring out what I'm doing in 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 business and being, am I a sound healer? Am I, and I come to this all of the time. um but I guess how?
Mm-hmm.
And um I feel like part of this medicine and learning for me is that I'm showing up in these spaces different than I was before, where I felt like my identity was just that of the person that I was showing up with or for. And now I'm more able to speak into the space of like, well, this is what I'm focusing on.
Mm.
But, and I can also do readings, but, and I can also do energy healing. But I'm figuring out this space of like delivering the messages of, but we are here.
Mm-hmm.
This is nothing outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still navigating that.
Yeah.
And I'm still navigating like those conversations as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Me too.
Yeah. And being okay with like, oh, well, if I'm doing something with this person, however anyone views that is not. If I look like I'm all over the place, that's what there's this like, once again, being in the clunk, like being in the clunk until I refine. If I doing something completely different than this, or this message is completely different from this, just being in that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Unsure if there's any congruency, unsure if anything's coming across,
Right.
and finding my true frequency.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, I had two things and I lost one of them. Oh yeah, I remember. Um, Damn it, I lost the other one. That was so weird. And oh yeah, BA. Okay. Um, when we are exploring in these places in the like healing is so soft. I'm not sure that's totally for me, but I'm definitely a healer and like it's really easy for me to drop into meditative spaces and like shamanic journey. Like I fucking love that shit. So good. Like the Pisces in me really comes out there. This like in between world space. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, but then also meeting this like, but the fucking world of voice doming, like yes, like and the hows here, like how does this? I don't mean just voice doming, but like all the possibilities within this human that we are. um, I've been also in this same fucking energetic where I'm like, I want more art. more art. And then I'm like, how the fuck do I do that? Like, how do I bring art into my business? And then brain is like, that's like art therapy. And I'm like, bitch, kinda, no, it's not, and this like rattle. And like, yes, I would like to work with artists with like, they make things, they make books and papers and paintings, but also I know we've talked about this, and you already know what I'm talking about, but just the frequency of art moving through the body, this is the person that I want to work with. So I don't care what kind of artist you are. You are a healing artist, you are a coaching artist, you are a visual artist, an auditory artist, like awesome, I'm a yes, like, art, that's what's up. But how do I bring like, that is my craving, is the frequency of art, and then this like disconnect between where I am now and bringing that in? How do I make that happen? Is it like, again, brain is like, is it like an art container? It's not artful at all. We're doing art and healing, and like, that's not it, like, kinda. But I don't know what that means. I don't know what that looks like. And the invitation is just to follow it. So,
Yeah.
like, if art's alive, makes art. Go do the thing. Like, that is how the feminine integrates the things that she wants. And like, when we're following that, like, I want to be a singer. Great, go fucking sing. Like, sing more, sing even more. Experiment with voice doming, with yourself, with safe spaces. Bring it into our groups. I don't know. I'm sure that there would be people who would meet you there. Do it, and it will integrate eventually. Like, the things that are meant to stick in our businesses, when we're practicing them, everything's the same, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I
business,
remember that.
nutrition, sleep, sex, relationship, it's all the fucking same. And so it's all just one metaphor for the other. So as long as we're practicing the thing that we want to be in the business, or at least like think we might want it in the business, then it will much more naturally integrate into the services that we are holding,
Mm.
rather than like, I mean, it's fucking great to like do it clunky too and be like, I'm just using voice doming as an example because it's the one in the room, but um like, you could very well be like, I'm going to create a 2-week voice doming container and like do it specifically that way, and you're going to learn a shitload from it. That's fucking awesome. And you might find out that like, wow, that was really great, and also parts that I didn't like, and we can evolve that way too, of course. But I feel like it's much more integrative when we just start doing the things ourselves.
Yeah.
And that is just self practice anyway. And teaching from the body of, what did you call it? The body of the experience. Embodied coaching, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I want to be voice domed. Like,
Do it.
okay. And
She's in
and
LA, right?
yeah,
Or they're in LA. I don't know what her pronouns are.
yeah. Okay. I'm just gonna, yes, yes, please. Um, but as you it to what you were saying, and I'm just like bringing it in for myself, is like that when we were fucking looking for the sigils all day, and the whole time I'm like, is it that? Is it that? Is it that? And yeah, 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 that's one. And then the fucking sigil farm.
Sigil
Like,
Farm.
it's that, but I would have never, we,
No.
oh.
No. Right. Yeah.
Like, that wouldn't be, I would never thought of that, those sigils before.
Nope. Me either. No. No.
but now I know that that exists, you know, like, but all those little other moments were like, yeah, like a nod to a sigil. Yeah, this is what you want. It's not quite it, like, and we felt that like in our bodies. It's not quite that, but yes, that's it. That's something. That's
Yeah.
the way that that farm landed in the body. And then the mind is just like, okay,
I'm out.
yeah,
I'm
okay.
out. The way that that sigil farm landed in like the body of the car.
Oh, we made a U-turn for it.
I was just gonna say that. And then we went back. Like,
Yeah.
hang on.
Run that again. Oh, yeah. That.
So a couple weeks ago, I have been working on this frequency of art thing for like 2 months. And it's not totally here yet. It's close. And I'm like starting to move anyway. Starting to. Um, in fact, just yesterday, I had to I had to postpone a client call yesterday. I was like, "Can you give me another 10 minutes?" Because I was just like cracked the fuck open on my kitchen floor and just like sobbing and listening to Kanye and like I wouldn't need another 10 minutes. So it's clearly still working me. And clearly my body can feel it. Like this is the download, is the like I don't know what it is. There's nothing verbal here. Like occasionally I'll get some words, but like not really. It's all a feeling. Um, but yeah, like 6 weeks ago, I don't know what is time. Some weeks ago, um, when I first started touching the frequency of art, um, I I'm like feeling into it and like what that means for the people that I want to work with, for the clients that I am calling in. And they are explorers. They're I'm like so whoa.
Just happened.
Wow, there's like so many things that are blocking this from coming out of my mouth right now. I'm so done with healing shit. Ha. Um I'm just I don't I'm not interested in working with people on the bullshit. Like I love all of it. Like radical approval, yes, but like when people specifically are stuck to their shit, I'm just like not here for it. I'm done. Like it's almost like I put my dues in for that and I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
either like not you're not paying me enough for that or we're just moving on. So anyway, that's part of this energetic agreement with the clients that I'm calling in is like you are exploratory within yourself, selves and psyche, and not like sticky, not sticking to the stories and the things, which fucking happens because we're humans, you know, but there's different levels here. Um, and they're artists who run the frequency of art. They're like interested in being outside and being in their bodies. And um, some people are so much easier to work with in the body. And I want more of that. I want people who are just like in there with me and like open to the mystery. And then like a week later, I got someone submitted my contact form on my website and was like, I'm interested in doing breath work with you or something like that. I'm like, okay, why don't you just come to the Star House? Like it was it was he had reached out like right before I was holding breathwork at the Star House, and he was like, no, I want to talk about breathwork coaching. And I'm like, cool. I don't know what that means. I I have it on my website. It's like underneath, like you can sign up for Star House dates, and underneath it's like, if you want to talk about breathwork coaching, I'm here for it. It's just there in case somebody ever wants to talk about it, but I've never done it. Right. So this is the like setting myself up for future success is like, sure. So anyway, I got on the phone with this man, and he's like, all of that. It was like I had said what I wanted, and then he just showed up. And I told him that.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've been waiting for you. Like, holy shit. We met in person after that. He's going through some crazy job stuff. And so I was like, let me know when you're not going through crazy job stuff and we'll start some work together. But he's like, well, what is he? I think he's 47. And he's like, well, I'm I'm an I don't think he called himself this, but I'm an entrepreneur and a father and a husband and blah blah blah. I'm none of these things at the same time. Like none of them actually define me, like who I am in this soul and this body. Um, and he's like, technically, I have started, or I own a software company, but it's really just a metaphor for the spiritual world. And I'm like, what? And he didn't come to me to do breath work for a problem. Like, I have this back issue. I've been told I need to breathe better. I have a broken heart. He wasn't coming with this, like, I'm a victim of some circumstance. I need to fix it. He was like, I'm really just interested in exploring,
Mm.
period. I'm like, that's it. That's exactly what I want. Um, and that, I mean, same thing. Like, I couldn't have called in that sigil farm. I couldn't have, all
Yeah.
right, we did call in the sigil farm, but I couldn't have made it up, and I couldn't have, I did sort of make up this man, but like, he just dropped in out of the ether. I'm like, how did you find me? And he's like, I just Googled breathwork in Boulder, and here you were. So he just like got the call
Yeah.
and answered.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
And that's how we do, and why we run the frequencies.
Yeah. I'm hearing Karen right now when someone asked her how, I don't remember where we were, how we all came to be here, like in Colorado. She's like, well, Carl did a spell and then we appeared.
I don't
So
think I.
that. So that.
Oh, I don't believe that's just my spell, though. I think that's all of ours, like
Yeah,
our collective.
but yeah, but and in that moment, I I was like, yeah, that's exactly how it got here.
I didn't hear that. When did that happen?
I don't we were somewhere. Oh, it was at the Star House on Sunday when all the sisters were there and then we had breakfast.
Yeah.
We were at a table. And I forgot. It was Madhavi and another woman and a gentleman.
Mm.
And so they asked, how do you all know each other? And that was Karen's response. And it was me, and I feel like there was someone else, but we looked at each other and we're like, yep, that's exactly what happened. That's how.
That's the best. That's I couldn't ask for more. That's my yeah, all of my being. I need to spellcast more, I think.
Yeah.
That's great. Um, this guy too, when we met in person, he was like similar to what we're talking about. He's like, I can feel the pull of what's next for me. And essentially he has to break up with his business that he built. He's like, I built it and then it outgrew me, because that's what the businesses that I build do. It's
Mhm.
like part of the process. And so I really have to break up with my business partner, and there's this pull into what's next for me. And I was like, tell me about this pull. And he's like, I don't know what it means or what it looks like, but it's bringing the sacred masculine to men. And I was like, you want to be a men's coach? And he's like, I think
Oh,
so.
this is
Right. So we just have to ask, just keep asking this, please.
but this ask is just like, oh, so it's like the clarity and the precise and exactness of it is like, um I feel like it speaks to your refinery, like that process that we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, to, I mean, it's,
Yeah. It's, yeah, refining. And the, like, why the fuck we do shadow work too is
yeah,
like, when we get all of that sabotagey stuff integrated,
yeah,
then the thing can show up pretty damn clear.
yeah,
And it also illuminates the places that we still have shadow, which is cool too. Because then, like, there's clear evidence of, like, ooh, here's this thing that I am still going to integrate.
yeah,
Like, if when we call in something for the first time consciously, or like, I want a man, whatever, I want a partner, and mm, here he is, and man shows up, but then he still has all of these bits that are like validating the old stuff.
yeah,
He's still running emotional abuse and existential kink things.
yeah.
And like, we'll be like, okay, clearly my magic worked. Here's man, but there's something else that's still here for me to work out in the emotional abuse territory.
Yeah,
And then we do that, and then like next partner comes in, and like they're not emotionally abusive, but there's like this other thing over here, and like each that is the refinement of shadow work too, and how it reveals itself.
mm. Brrr. What, but what I'm also seeing in this is like, you call it in, like, you called, you wanted clients, you called in your clients, but through that experience and that working with this client and those parts of you that also attracted this person, like, through working with them and also the working through you, like the refiner
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
embodied coaching like
Yeah.
at its finest. And now you're
Yeah.
doing clients that you're calling in.
Yeah. I needed to hear that too. The impatient parts of me needed to hear that too, because it's like so almost tangible for me now. And so, and the impatient parts are like, let's fucking go. I'm ready. But it's happening.
Yeah, it's happened.
It's happened.
Yeah. It's here.
Yeah. I mean, I see this in you as well. And like when you were telling me on our very last leg of the trip, um, I think like right like driving to the airport, or maybe it was one leg before that. Um, and you were telling me all of the ways that you're so fucking supported. And like, okay, I'm gonna do these readings with this guy, and then I have this collaboration. And oh yeah, by the way, I can do these readings whenever I want and make my own schedule, and this collaboration with this woman, and of course my master classes and whatever else comes up there too. I was just like I was geared to be more like creational with you, like, okay, so how are we going to make, this is what you want, what are the things that we can make to make that happen? And to just hear those things just like fall out of your mouth was like, well, I already have all these things set up. I'm like, oh great, I'll just keep driving.
uh yeah, it's really cool. uh, and also I hit a piece like just recently where I used to have conversations with you where I was like, I don't know if I could hold space or if I could listen, and just experiencing myself do that like a couple days ago, and I was like, I'm doing the thing. Cool. Okay. That was my self high five moment this
I
week.
felt it. I felt it. I did it internally.
It's like, we're good. We d- we did it. Uh yeah. Yeah. This is our life. On that note.
I need to wrap up and get Elliot to saxophone lessons.
Yeah.
um Today was totally delightful,
Yeah.
and I don't feel like we like did anything like on your stuff. So as it's coming up in the week, as always, I'm here for it. Just as far as your masterclass goes and like business things. I really
Yeah.
loved today though. This was awesome.
Me too. Me too. I needed it. This was
Mhm.
um yeah. Thank you. Love you.
Love you.